Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Akshita from BTech CSC 3rd year. Today in this video I am going to give you a small demo how to design a multi-tier web application architecture using the AWS services like the EC2 instance, RDS for the database and an application load balancer. So let's get started by logging into the AWS free tier account. So our first step is to create a VPC. To create a VPC, near services we have to search for VPC and then click on VPC. We have to create our own VPC, so first we need to move here in the left panel. We have to see your VPCs. Click here create VPC. Now we have to name the VPC as my VPC and then the IP for manual as this CIDR it would be 172.20.0.0 by 20, and then let the default be the same and then create VPC. Once we have created the VPC, once recheck if the VPC is created, so we are able to see our VPC, and then we'll create the subnets. Click on create subnet and then select the VPC which is already created. Now one by one we'll create the subnets. The first one would be the public subnet which we'll be creating. So we'll be giving the naming as my public web subnet 1, and then the availability zone select as US East 2A. The IPv4 subnet CIDR block would be 172.20.1.0 by 24, and then click on add new subnet. One by one we'll be adding the new subnet. This would be subnet 2. Reference will be 2B, US East 2B, and the IPv4 would be 172.20.2.0 by 24. Again add another. This would be subnet 3. Reference would be US East 2C. This is 172.20.3.0 by 24. And then now we'll create for private subnets. So we'll be creating this as my private app subnet 2. We want availability zone would be US East 2A. 72.20.4.0 by 24. Add again. Here it would be subnet 2. Preference region would be East 2B. 172.20.5.0 by 24. The IP address, and then this one will be third. Preference region will be 2C. 172.20.6 by 0 by 24. After creating private subnets, now we have to create subnets for the DB. So I'm giving the naming convention as my private DB subnet 1. The preference region is US 2A, and the IPv4 will be 172.20.7.0 by 24 and add another subnet and give the name as db2 db subnet 2, and the preference region would be US East, that is availability zone is US East 2B. The IPv4 CIDR would be 172.20.8.0 by 24, and we'll be adding another subnet. Name would be db3, preference region would be US East 2C 2.20.9.0 by 24. Now click on create subnets for creating all the 9 subnets. So now let's check whether all the subnets are available or not by just clicking on subnets, and we can find all the subnets available. Here we can find all the subnets available, all the 9 subnets. Now let's create route tables. To create route tables, just click on route table and here click create route table. So for public web, we have to create the route table. The naming I am giving as my public web route table. Select the VPC which we have created and then click on create route table. Now create another route table. Click for private app. So I'm naming it as my private app route table. Select the VPC and click on create route table. I'm creating another for the DB by private DB route table. Select the VPC, create route table. Now to the created route tables, we need to give the subnet associations. That is, first let's check whether the route tables are created. They are created. Now select one of the route table and here click on subnet association. Click edit subnet association. So first we have taken web, so we'll be giving the web subnet association. Select all the 3 and then click on save association. Now for app, we'll be giving the subnet associations in the similar way. Save association. And lastly for the DB, so after association, now we need to create some connectivity, and hence for that we require an internet gateway. So we have to create an internet gateway. Just click on create internet, name as my internet gateway. My internet gateway, and then click on create internet gateway. We have to even attach it to the VPC. So select the VPC and click on attach internet gateway. Then after the internet gateway is created, we have to create the NAT gateway. So click on NAT gateway and click create NAT gateway. Give the name as my NAT gateway 1. Select the public subnet 1, public web subnet 1, and allocate it to the elastic IP, and then click on create NAT gateway. So now we need to make, after creating the NAT gateway, we have to make some changes in the routing tables. So now click on, we have to make changes to the route tables. So click on my public web route table and go for routes. Click on edit routes and then click add a route. Give the destination as 0.0.0, and here we have to click on internet gateway which we have created. Select that and click on save changes. And now again go to the route tables. Now we have completed for web, so we have to go for app, go to routes, create edit routes and click on add route. Give the same configuration, but here you have to select the NAT gateway and select the gateway which we have created. Click on save changes. And then now for DB also, DB route table also, the same should be done as the private app. Select on the DB, private DB route table, go to routes, click on edit routes, add route, NAT gateway, and then save changes. So now we have completed the basic network connections what we have to give, that is the subnets, VPCs, associations and all. And now we'll be going to the further step, that is the EC2. In the services, search for EC2 and we'll be able to find EC2. Here click on instance running. So we have to launch instance. Click on launch instance. Give the name of the instance as my jump server. My jump server, and then select the Amazon Linux AWS. Instance type would be t2.micro. Create a key pair. So click on create key pair. Give the name of the key pair as my key pair 1. So give the key pair name as my key pair 1 and click on create key pair. After that, edit the network settings. So we have to select the VPC which we have created, and the subnet we have to select public 1 subnet, my public web subnet 1, because this would be acting as our gem server. And auto assign public IP, you have to enable that, and we have to create a security group. So we'll be naming the security group as my gem server SG. My gem server SG, and others would be the same. Storage configuration, everything will be the same. Now we have to click on launch instance. The instance will be getting launched. Now after the creation of the gem server, we will create the PHP server. So click on launch instance. And give the name as my PHP app server 1. My PHP app server 1, Amazon Linux, this would be as usual. Instance type will be T2 micro. Now select the key pair which we have already given before, that is 1, and edit the subnet network settings. Select the VPC, select our own VPC, and select the subnet, that is the private app subnet 1. Private app subnet 1, no, my private app subnet 1. Select this, and then select the create a security group. Give the name of the security group as my PHP app server SG. And here we need to click on custom and give our gem servers to my gem server SG ID, and then once check everything and click on launch instance. After the instance, we have to go for instances and create PHP2 second one. This will take some time, so let it take. By the time we launch the second instance, give the name as my PHP app server 2. Amazon, instance type T2.micro, key pair as it is key pair 1, and for edit the subnet settings, click on my VPC, select the other app private app subnet 2, private app subnet 2, and select the existing security group, that is our PHP server SG, and then click on launch instance. Now we are able to see that all of our instances are running. So we'll try to connect gem server from the local machine. So just click on this, click on connect, and then in SSH client copy this, command prompt paste it, but here since we are using command prompt, we have to give the entire path for the key. Hence locate the file, where is it, downloads, click on its properties, copy the file path, and paste it here. Now we can see there is a connectivity established. Now we have to connect to the app server. So to connect to the app server, minimize this, go back to the AWS, go to the instances, click on PHP server 1, app server 1, click here, again click on connect, SSH client, and copy this, command. Now go to the command prompt, paste it. After connecting the app server, we have to install PHP and Apache on the app server. So we'll start installing. I'll be providing you the application link in the description. We have to do directly with the AWS commands. So let's start by doing this. Complete, and then we will install the required things. And then enable. So let's check if it is working. It works. So now let's clear this. And now we will assign required permissions to the key. For required permissions, we need to use this. Once we'll copy again. Enter. This is one of the permission. In a similar way, we need to give all the permissions. Next, we need to click exit. So connection is closed. We need to write groups. So we got some groups, and then go to the application as it is. So we have to change this. So after all these completes, now we have to install the required dependency. So go to step 4, and here you'll be installing PHP myadmin. Click on these. It will install. wait till it installs, and we have to restart the Apache. Then we have one file, we are trying to unzip it. It's completed, and now we have to proceed to the next steps. After we have installed the PHP and Apache in the app server, we will be creating the load balancer. So in the left panel, click on the load balancer, create load balancer. Here we have to select the application load balancer, create, and then name of the load balancer would be my ALB SG. It will be internet facing, and all these are default. Select the VPC, which is ours, and in all the US East 2A availability zones, we have to give public subnets. Then we have to create a new security group. Just a second. Here the load balancer name should not include SG, should be my ALB. So now click on create security group, and in create security group give the name as my ALB SG, and the same should be the description. Here we need to give our VPC, select my VPC, and create security group. Now after the creation of security group, go back, refresh, and you'll find the security group available. Select the security group, and here we have to add the target, so click on create target group. Now for the target group, it should be instance. Target group name will be my ALB PHP PG. 84 this should be, and let all the default checks be as it is. Click on next, and now we need to register the servers. So we already have the PHP servers. Register them, include as pending below. Now create the target group. So in the target group, we have registered the targets. It will take some time. Now refresh the come back to the load balancer, refresh it, we'll be getting the target group. Now check again everything and click on create load balancer. So here we can check our load balancer is created. Now we need to allow the load balancer security group in our instance security group. So just select this and go to security, click on the link. We'll be getting our and you have to click on edit inbounds. Here we need to add a rule, that is make the port as 80. Here add the security group and click on save changes. Now test the connection by clicking on the DNS name of the load balancer and pasting it in the browser. We'll be getting it as true. So now let's start the creation of the database. RDS. If you go to RDS, we have here subnet groups. Click on the subnet and my DB subnet group. Create a subnet group. Name will be my DB subnet group. Let the same be the description also. Now choose the VPC which is ours, my VPC, and select the availability zones 2A and 2B, and subnets we need to create which are associated with the DBs. So that is 7 and 8. They are associated with DB, and then click on create. So now we will start creation of our actual database. So click on create database, and create database. First it will be standard, second it will be MySQL, and then the name of the database. Select free tier. Accordingly the data will be changing. Database name would be MyDB. So admin password, we have to create our own password. Give the same password, confirm it, and then let the configuration be t3.micro. Select the VPC, my VPC. Disable auto scaling. Enable, just disable the auto scaling. My DB subnet group will be selected automatically when you select the VPC. Then coming to the security group, we need to create a new security group. So create a new security group, name the security group as my DBSG. Availability zone, just leave it, and then click on create database. Password might be long. Be careful with the password. Check the thing contains at least printable ASCII characters. Any of the following at the rates. Okay. According to the requirements, we need to give the password. And then click on create database. Creation of database, it may take some time. Just wait for that. Here we got it successfully created. Now we need to enable connectivity between the app server and the DB server. So for that, first we need to, it is still in the backup stage. Let's reload. Available stage, go to the select and go to my database. Here near connectivity and security, click on the VPC security group and then select this, and we need to edit the inbound rules. Go to the inbound rules, edit inbound rule. We need to add one link, that is add a rule wherein the port number is 3306, and we have to give here the PHP app server security group. We have to delete the default which is created, and then we have to save. After saving, now we need to move to the terminal. So we have successfully completed our demo on how to design a multi-tier architecture using the AWS services. Thank you all for watching the video.